Obasanjo and his likes, who have over the years denied the Ijaw nation every opportunity to annex, own, and control our God-given resources, must be told in clear and unmistakable terms that we cannot be intimidated, hushed, or harassed into moronic silence. Obasanjo's claim that as long as Nigeria is together, whatsoever is under the ground is given to all Nigerians by God, and that we are to manage it together, smacks of the wicked script of the Nigerian state against the Ijaws and their resources, which he also perpetuated during his 8 years of his 14 misadventure in power. OBJ's land use decree remains the most obnoxious and catastrophic piece of legislation designed and religiously implemented to undermine the Ijaws and other minority ethnic nationalities in this country and deny them their inalienable right to benefit from their God-given blessings. We consider his claim on resource ownership pernicious, provocative, oppressive, and wicked, just as it negates the decades-long deprivation principle, which was pegged at 100% in 1946 and remained so until Nigeria independence, where it was whimsically reduced to 50% and callously and drastically reduced to a paltry 1.3% and later a meager 13%, when oil and gas replaced cocoa, groundnut, and palm oil as the dominant economic mainstay of the country. The inequality around the oppressive derivation principle, we all know, only changed when oil and gas became the major foreign exchange earner for the Nigerian state. OBJ should also be bold enough to extend this pretentious outburst on the ownership and mindless mining of gold in Zamfara and other parts of the north, and butane in Ondo and other minerals extracted as private commercial ventures in states and communities outside the Niger Delta. Need we remind Obasanjo that while he glossed with his rapt and anemic resources for all fantasy, the debilitating environmental, human, social, and economic impasse resulting from oil and gas exploration and exploitation by the Nigerian state and their multinational collaborators are borne and suffered solely by the Ijaw and the Niger Delta people, are not shared in any way by others, including Obasanjo's community, Ota, in Ogun State. Obasanjo has not visited any oil and gas-related polluted sites across Ijaw land and the Niger Delta region to appreciate firsthand the enormity of environmental degradation and calamity suffered by the people, with attendant epidemics, health challenges, and local access to social amenities. We are not in any way surprised at the hatred of the former president for the Ijaw and the Niger Delta people, as he demonstrated a huge dose of this towards the Ijaw people when he, in a supposed democracy in 1999, ordered armed soldiers to invade an Ijaw community, Odi, in Bayelsa State. The Odi massacre, as now known in the annals of Nigerian political history, will remain unforgettable in the memories of generations of Ijaw people. We are, however, consoled that the cause of the land in 2013 vindicated and gave judgment in favor of the Odi people and ordered the federal government of Nigeria to pay the community the sum of 37.6 billion as compensation for the damages and psychological trauma caused by the executive recklessness and power drunkenness of Obasanjo, who wrought an act of inhumanity on a defenseless community, like a leopard He has not changed his skin of horrible thoughts about the Ijaws and the Niger Delta people, even out of office. Recent developments in the country, particularly the Petroleum Industry Act, the non-constitution of the Niger Delta Development Commission Board, non-inclusion of Ijaw terrain in the proposed NNPC roads rehabilitation project, the exclusion of Ijaw for top NNPC managerial positions, and the balkanization of Ijaws into political irrelevance, etc., are lucid pointers to the deliberate exploit to hold the Ijaw and the Niger Delta people hostage and be subjected to poverty and a state of arrested development, which Obasanjo and his likes relish. The Ijaw Nation, under the auspices of his umbrella socio-cultural organization, the Ijaw National Congress, held a summit in Yanagwa on the 4th of December 2021 to evaluate, to review, and introspect into the past, present, and future existential challenges and strategies of survival of the Ijaw people, and resolve not to lament anymore, but to seek and pursue self-determination through the mechanisms of peaceful engagement, diplomatic, and other non-violent means. We are convinced that the former president will have held a totally different view and also jealously guarded oil and gas resources if his utter home town were an oil-producing community. He can only be entitled to his jaundiced opinion, which he cannot impose on the Ijaw and the Niger Delta people. He cannot rewrite history. The natural resources in the Ijaw land and the Niger Delta are owned by us, and not Obasanjo's Ota and other communities in the Nigerian state. His attack on the INC National Scribe is an attack on the Ijaw nation. It is an attack on the Niger Delta people. I will condemn it in its entirety. His outburst should serve as an eye-opener to other oppressed minority entities in the conservative called Nigeria on the grand resource conspiracy against us and our environment. OBJ perhaps unconsciously but loudly emptied the mindset of the Nigerian oligarchy, who cares more about how to ravage our resources to develop themselves and feel far less concerned about the pains and agony we face bearing the supposedly Commonwealth. The attitude of the state during the recent Nembe spill that lasted for over a month with no credible cleanup, remediation, and compensation program in place for the victims speaks volume of the disposition of the Nigerian state when it comes to dealing with the Ijaws and other minorities in the country. We as Ijaws are rich and very rich in human and natural endowment, but poor and very poor because opportune leaders like Obasanjo have made us beggars to what rightly belongs to us. Thankfully, we have, through our recent summit, resolved to consign this poverty narrative into oblivion. We therefore demand that Obasanjo retracts his misplaced anger and apologize to the Ijaw nation and the Niger Delta people who undeniably have been feeding him, his family, his state, and the Nigerian state over the years. Thanks for the audience. Thank you very much.